Matt, I want to take a look at the quarterbacks in the SEC. Do you think Jaden Daniels of LSU is the best quarterback in the league?
I think he's going to be the best player of the year this year is what I think. And I think he's ready to have a big season. He really started playing well like the last 5-6 weeks of the season. Got the ankle injury, kind of slowed against Arkansas. Then you could tell he wasn't the same player in the SEC championship game. I think he got a lot better by the bowl game. Still was limping, but got better. He's a guy that I think he raised his completion percentage to almost 70%, Jimmy. He's still a guy that can run and do things with his leg and stress defenses with his legs. If that percentage goes up even higher, and he really isn't comfortable in Mike Denbrock's offense, I was talking to him yesterday, he said, he now has the ability to change plays at the line of scrimmage. So if he can walk up the line of scrimmage and get him out of a play that's not good, you've got that at a quarterback who knows a bad play's there, and he can change it into a good one, you're in good shape.
KJ Jefferson in Arkansas, what are your thoughts on him?
Love him, absolutely love him. Just a tough, gutty player. A lot like Jaden Daniels last year, had an injury. He's a guy that I think they're trying to put him in situations where he throws more. They're trying to trust him a little more as a thrower. He grew last year, I think, a lot as a thrower. I think he's got a chance for a huge season this year. Arkansas, if you look at what they did, I think they lost, I might be wrong on this math, I think it's 4 games by like 14 points or 15 points last year. One of those games, Jimmy, the game-winning field goal hit the top of the upright. I don't think I've ever seen that ever in the history of football. So they had a lot of odd games last year that they could have won. They could have been a 10 or 11 win team last year. So I'm excited to see Arkansas this year.
Spencer Rattler, South Carolina, terrific against Tennessee.
Yeah.
Beat Clemson, played well against Notre Dame. Your thoughts on Rattler?
But, got off for the first almost 2 months of the season, right?
Yeah.
Was nothing like they expected the first 2 months, then got hot. Is he the same player? Is he the same guy? Is he the guy that's going to play like he did in 2020 for Oklahoma? When they won their conference, then crushed Florida in that bowl game, the Cotton Bowl. If he's that type player, yeah, South Carolina is going to scare some people. Absolutely.
Joe Milton at Tennessee. A lot of talent. Your thoughts on Milton?
I don't see. Here's what I look at this, Jimmy, and I think a lot of people are looking at Joe Milton. They're thinking the Michigan guy and the guy at Tennessee that wasn't playing that well against Pitt, got hurt, never got back in the game, and Hendon Hooker took off. I look at Joe Milton as he's in Josh Heupel's offense. Every quarterback in Josh Heupel's offense has done terrific things. And I look at the guy who played against Clemson, a really good Clemson defense, and played flawlessly in that game. So I think he's going to take the job and run with it. Like I know people are talking about the 5-star freshman hotshot coming in at some point. I think it's Joe Milton's team, and he's taking it.
If Anthony Richardson could be a top 5 pick of the NFL draft, could Joe Milton be?
You know what? They're different players because Anthony Richardson has that ability to stress defenses with his legs.
Yeah.
He's got a 4.4 40. I don't think Joe's that type of guy. Joe is a legit pocket passer. So I don't think they're the same. Now, is it possible for him to develop that Josh Heupel offense and put up huge numbers in the NFL to go, wait a second, he's got a cannon. Now he's showing us that he can read defenses, that he can make throws on time with anticipation. Yeah, I think he can end up being a first-round pick. Sure. A guy with that kind of athletic ability, why not be a first-round pick? Yeah.
So Georgia wins 2 national titles with a quarterback that at one time was a walk-on. Now they got Jordan Beck, who's considered a more talented player. What do you see out of Beck?
Carson Beck was a guy who in 2020 and 2021 actually had a chance to play. Things just didn't work out one way or the other. This is now year 4 for him. He's been in this system a long time. He knows this system. There's a new OC with Mike Bobo, but it'll be similar. There's a lot of similar stuff going on. I think he's going to play well. I do. I think he's going to get out there and play well. And if you've got a guy that's been in the system for that long and has waited that long to play and is motivated to play and is talented, he was a huge recruit when he got there. I think he plays well.
How would you assess Alabama's quarterback situation?
It's strange, at the least. It's very strange that one of the 2 best recruiting programs in all of college football is at a point where they don't have a quarterback, where they've missed on quarterbacks. And I'm not saying they missed on Ty Simpson. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't, and Jalen Milroe for that matter. But if you've got a guy like Jalen Milroe that's been in your program now for 2 years, it'll be year 3, he's got to be ready to go. No questions asked. And you're scrounging around the transfer portal, the spring portal no less, looking for a quarterback, and you got a guy at Notre Dame who lost a starting the starting job at Notre Dame. He wasn't going to be their star this year, so he left. And he's tight with Tommy Rees, the new OC. So that's your new quarterback. To me, if you're Alabama, you got to be in a better situation than that.
Will Rogers set a lot of records in Mississippi State. Now he doesn't have Mike Leach there as the play caller, head coach. What do you see with Rogers this year?
I think a new offense is going to help him because they're going to run the ball more. So it's going to take some pressure off him instead of throwing the ball 50 times a game. He's going to be able to do a lot of stuff off play action, and I think you're going to see a different type of thrower now because when you know it's coming and you know the ball's going in the air, Jimmy, it's a lot different than when, they can run the ball too. They got Jaquavius Marks back there. Maybe he's going to get it. Maybe he's going to run for 16. Or maybe he'll go for 40. And I think in previous years with Mike Leach, it was 3rd and 1 or 3rd and 2. We're going to throw a quick shallow cross or something. And right now, it's just going to be this, Marks or whoever's back there. And I think that's different. I think that will help Will Rogers.
So Will Levis is at Kentucky. He's an early second-round pick. Now they bring in a quarterback transfer from NC State. How do you see that working out?
I don't know if you watched him at NC State. Devin Leary in 2021 was a really good player. He came in this past season. They had all new stars in the offensive line. They couldn't protect him, a lot like Levis. And he got hurt. He got hurt in the Florida State game early on. Didn't play the rest of the season. If they can protect him with Brown and Key, who I think are just a great receiver combination, two of the most underrated guys in the league, they're going to scare a lot of people. They will throw the ball all over the place.
And they got the 1,000-yard rusher from Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Two others, Texas A&M, Connor Wegman with Bobby Petrino. What do you see out of Wegman?
Wow, I like Wegman a lot. Liked him last year. And Petrino, look, we can say all we want about Bob Petrino, that he's a coaching mercenary, and it's ended badly everywhere. The guy can coach. He can coach quarterbacks and he can call plays. I don't know how the dynamic is going to work with he and Jimbo Fisher, the two biggest egos in college football, but we'll see how that works. If it all works, and I think it all fits nice, I think Wegman will have a huge year. If it doesn't and it implodes, who knows?
One more. Ole Miss. So they got Jackson Dart coming back. They go to Oklahoma State and get Sanders coming in. They got a transfer from LSU that I really don't think is going to play into the picture. What do you see shaking out at Ole Miss?
Well, they also got the freshman 17-year-old, Austin, what's his last name? Phillips, I think? I can't remember his last name. He's a guy, the 17-year-old, that you're not signing that guy unless you're going to at least have a couple plays for him here and there. So I think Dart's going to be the guy initially, but you're going to see a lot of Sanders. They're both going to play a lot. I think Lane's kind of played this perfectly, actually. He's got two guys that are very similar in the way they play the game, and he's got a brand new freshman who can change everything with a handful of plays.
Do you see? It's kind of surprising to me he's got that many quarterbacks, right? Because most of them hit the transfer portal at some point. Does that surprise you that he's been able to stockpile it like that?
No, because he's a quarterback coach, and he's known to develop quarterbacks. So it doesn't really surprise me. What's surprising to me is you haven't named A.J. Swan. That's what's surprising to me. Because if you have any reason to watch Vanderbilt this year, it's to watch A.J. Swan. That dude is a thrower. That's a legit NFL quarterback. I'm telling you right now, Jimmy, in 2 years, you're going to go, wow, you were right about A.J. Swan. That dude is a player.
So is Vanderbilt better off at quarterback than Florida?
Oh, yes. Yes. Vanderbilt's better off at quarterback than Florida, than Missouri, than, it's not just than Auburn. We can go up the list. I don't. If I had to rank A.J. Swan in the SEC, I'd probably put him at 10. And that's only because he only played half a season last year. Wait till he plays a full season, gets a little more comfortable with what he's doing. Yeah.
What do you see out of Florida this year?
A lot of problems at quarterback. The problem I think with Graham Mertz more than anything, it's not that it was the uneven play. It's that he turned the ball over too much. You cannot have ball security issues in this league and get away with it. You will lose games because of turnovers. And I think that's the biggest issue right now for Graham Mertz in Florida is you got to protect the ball. You have to. They protected the ball for the most part last year and won 6 games, Jimmy. You get into a situation where you start turning the ball over this year, the Vegas line of 5.5, you might even take the under on that.
Ben, I appreciate it. Great stuff.
Thanks,
you very
Jimmy.
much.
Appreciate it.